Welcome, you guys. Thank you so much. We are doing 25 books for 2025. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can follow along and see more videos. $25 books for 2025. Some of these I have physical copies, others I'm going to be reading on my Kindle. Majority are going to be on my Kindle, or I'm going to order them as I go. But we're going to start. So get your drinks. Let's do this. Call Me Basic. I actually already read this because now it is actually basically the end of January. So of course my number one was Onyx Storm. And I did read this. I am going to be doing a review video, a recap, some theories, things like that on this. So be prepared for that. I actually waited in line, got myself the Target edition. I was so excited for this. And this book did not disappoint. So of course that was my number one. I'm a basic bitch, I know. I have not read the Chestnut Spring series. So a lot of these books are actually series that I want to read. So if I don't get to all 25, that's probably why, because I do want to finish the series of the books that I start. So we'll see. I'll do an end of the year book tag. And to start this by saying, a lot of these books, you're probably going to go, wow, you haven't read that. I just started my reading journey. So I got into reading a few years ago. I read a few books that really got me into it, and then I kind of just fell off. And on Christmas is when I started my reading journey again. So I am playing catch up with all the good series. So of course I want to read the Chestnut Spring series by Elsie Silver. This first one is Flawless. I am so excited. Some cowboy romance. Just thinking about it. Okay. Next, this one is actually my current read right now. I am starting ACOTAR. I have never read it. And you may be surprised by that, but I have not read ACOTAR. So I have a few tabs in here because I did start reading this. I'm so excited for this series. Everyone absolutely loves it, so I just have high hopes. I hope I'm not disappointed. It's good so far. It's giving Beauty and the Beast vibes, but I'm here for it because I really love Beauty and the Beast. So yeah, here's to this one. Coming in at number 4, it is Does It Hurt by H.D. Carlton. Now, this is a dark romance. So what I mainly read is dark romance, and then I've also now been getting into fantasy and like fantasy or romantasy, right? So I'm into fantasy, romantasy. I do want to try, and then obviously the Elsie Silver one is, I think that's called contemporary romance. I'm just basically exploring all the genres that interest me. Dark romance. So this is Does It Hurt by H.D. Carlton. Now, H.D. Carlton, I have read a few of her books now, and I absolutely love them, and I'm excited to read this one. This one is about, so the name Enzo, just, it's a good name. So I'm not 100% sure. A lot of these books I'm going in blind with. They're just books I've heard on TikTok that I'm sold. I'm so easily influenced, and TikTok has sold me on quite a few. I know a little bit about this one. Basically, there's forced proximity. They are on this boat. They get trapped on the island together, and any of the dark romance ones, you want to check your trigger warnings. I really don't have any trigger warnings, but I'm excited for this one. There's a scene from this book that I've heard quite a bit about, so I'm excited to dive into this one. Coming in at number 5, we have Lights Out by Nevessa Allen. This one again is a dark romance. I heard this is more of a lighter dark romance, but it's good. It's like an intro dark romance. I've read plenty of dark romance, so I'm not new to it, but I am excited about this one. Stalker vibes. He like posts, I think it's like TikToks or something, or like posts on the internet wearing a mask, and she's actually watches him, and then he ends up becoming obsessed with her and putting cameras everywhere and watching her, and that's about all I know about this book, but I'm very intrigued. It is a super popular book on TikTok right now. Coming in at number 6 is Phantasma by Kaylee Smith. This one is another dark romance, but it's like a fantasy dark romance. The MMC is a phantom, and I don't know what happens, but something happens and she ends up going to play these games. They're not like games. They're like, I honestly don't know too much. I think they're like horror games. Like, from my impression, it's like, I don't know, a game, but let's read the back. When Ophelia discovers her mother brutally murdered, that's what happens. When Ophelia discovers her mother brutally murdered, there is no time to grieve. She has inherited the family's fearsome magic and enormous debt. Circumstances go from dire to deadly. However, when Ophelia's sister decides to pay off the loan by entering Phantasma, a competition where contestants rarely escape alive, and the victor is granted a single wish. So basically you die or you win and you get a single wish. The only way for Ophelia to save her sister is to win. But Phantasma is a cursed manor full of twisting corridors and lavish ballrooms staffed by enticing demons and fatal temptations, and Ophelia must conquer all 9 floors to succeed. If her fears don't overtake her first, when a charming, arrogant stranger claims he can help, Ophelia knows better than to trust him. But with her sister's life on the line, Ophelia can't afford to turn him away. She'll just need to ignore the overwhelming dark attraction drawing them closer and closer together, because in Phantasma, the only thing deadlier than losing the game is losing your heart. I'm so excited to read this. That sounds so good now that I've actually read the back. I love that. I am excited. This is Phantasma by Keely Smith. Okay, those are it for the ones that I have physical books. The rest are going to be on Kindle Unlimited. And like I said, a lot of these are going in blind on. So after Phantasma, this book I have, the next one I have ordered. It's on the way. It is The Fabric of Our Souls by K.M. Mornova. I'm probably saying that wrong. Let me see. The Fabric of Our Souls is another dark romance, and this one is heavy on like mental health. Basically, they're like in this facility, and I believe the FMC really wants to not be alive anymore, and the FMC doesn't want to be alive anymore, and the MMC, I believe, likes inflicting pain or something. And so there's some crazy things that happen between them, and I heard there's like some mystery, there's some paranormal stuff like that. I'm excited to read that one. If I can, I'm gonna try and put them up here. I'm new to this video editing thing, so if I can't get the pictures up here, then that sucks, but I'm really hoping I can get the pictures up for you guys. So The Fabric of Our Souls by K.M. Mornova. If I butcher these names, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. That is coming in at number 7. Okay, coming in at number 8 is Throne of the Fallen by Carrie Maniscalco. By Carrie Maniscalco. I'm so sorry if I butchered that. This is another book that I'm kind of going in blindly to. I heard it's a romantasy, and I'm really trying to read more romantasy. I don't know a whole lot about it. Oh, and it has a spicy demon prince. I did hear that. So a spicy demon prince, romantasy. I have this one on the way. I did a book outlet order, so Fabric of Our Souls and then Throne of the Fallen I had ordered on there, so I'm excited to get those. Okay, coming in at number 9 is Quicksilver by Kelly Hart. This is another popular TikTok book. I know it's another fantasy romantasy, and I know that it's being turned into a movie, so I want to read the book before I watch the movie. So that is absolutely on a priority TBR read for me. Up next is going to be the Ravenhood series. This is a trilogy. I absolutely know nothing about this trilogy. other than I have heard it being recommended all over the place. So it is on a top TBR priority of mine. I do want to read it. I heard it is very emotional. It is so good, and it's a must read. So Ravenhood trilogy, which is Flock, Exodus, and The Finish Line. And that is by Kate Stewart. Next is another dark romance. This is a trilogy as well. It is the Edge of Darkness trilogy by, let me look, by Lee Rivers. This one I heard is a definite check your trigger warnings. It is dark, but I heard it's really good and you'll go through all the emotions. Coming at number 12 is The Never King. It is the Vicious Lost Boys book 1. I haven't heard a crazy ton about this one either, other than it's good. And so basically any book I see on TikTok that people say is good and that looks interesting to me, I'm like, adds to TBR. I am all in. So The Never King is something I want to read, and that is by Nikki St. Crow. Coming at number 13 is The Poppy War. This is one that I've heard you have to read, like you have to be in the headspace to read it. I heard it is like life-changing. It is going to mess you up. It is by, what is it? R.F. Kuang. So The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. It is a trilogy, so there's 3 books. I'm excited to read that. I need to know what it's all about. It's a historical fiction. That's about all I know. And then we have, this is another dark romance. It is the Mindfuck series by S.T. Abbey. This one is, instead of the like men being the morally gray one, she's the morally gray one. She's like a serial unaliver, and then that like on her revenge, yeah, she's on a revenge arc, serial unaliver, and she ends up dating this guy who is actually the FBI agent on her case, and that is all I know about this book. It is, I'm gonna get the one that's got like all 5 books in one, because it's actually technically 5 books. It's a series, but you can get it just as one book. So I'm all in. Again, any of these dark romance ones, check your trigger warnings if you want to read them. Then we have Metal Slinger by Rachel Schneider. Yeah, Metal Slinger by Rachel Schneider. Another one I want to go completely in blind. I've just heard it is an absolute like 5-star read. I want to read it. I don't want to know anything about it. I just want to go in. They said especially if you go in blind to this book with no expectations, it is solid. So that's what I'm doing. Metal Slinger by Rachel Schneider. This next one is another dark romance, and I actually tried to read it, but I tried to read it right after I had finished Onyx Storm, and I tried to read like 3 different books after Onyx Storm and I couldn't. I put them all down. I got like a few pages in and I was like, I can't do it. I was in a book slump. I couldn't do it. Nothing was comparing. I do want to read this though, so it is on my 25 for 25, and that is Phantom by H.D. Carlton. If you had read the Cat and Mouse duet, which is Haunting and then Hunting Adeline, I know that that's a controversial book. It's very, yeah. So I did read the Cat and Mouse duet. I did love it, but I am a dark romance girly, and so in that duet you get these little insights to her great grandma, which was Gigi. And so Phantom is a story based off of Gigi, so it was her, because she actually had a stalker too, and then Adeline had a stalker, so it kind of played hand in hand. So I'm really excited to find out Gigi's story. Hers wasn't a happy ending, but I do want to see her story from her POV with how her and her stalker and all of that. I do want to read it. It seems so interesting to me. I love the family ties and connections. Okay, this is another TikTok recommendation that I've heard a lot of good things about. Is The Blood of Hercules, a dark fantasy romance by Jasmine Mass. I don't think I've read anything about this. I believe this is kind of like a historical fiction as well, but let's read. Okay, so no, it's not a historical fiction. I'm not sure what it is. But I have a feeling it's going to be like battles and war and Titans and stuff like that. So Blood of Hercules, that is on my list. I also, on my list is Magnolia Parks. That is also a series. I'm just naming the first ones. I'm not going to add all of them, but I do want to read the Magnolia Park series. I've heard so many good things about that one as well. Basically all of these I've heard good things about, and I'm just intrigued, or they're based off books I've read that I've like heard about and then want to read to continue on. Corrupt by Penelope Douglas. That is a series. It is a dark romance, and I must read. I have to read that series. Corrupt is the first one. It's by Penelope Douglas. I believe it's Mafia, but I'm not 100% sure. I haven't done much research into these because I really like going into books blind, because if I see that they're super overhyped and I know so much about them and they don't live up to my expectations, I don't want to be disappointed. So going in as blind as possible with these books. Then we have The Last Letter by Rebecca Yarros. I heard this one is a heartbreaker. It is a sad book, so you gotta be in the mood for a cry, for sad. It is on my list though. I absolutely love the Imperium series. Obviously, I am a diehard fan now of that, so I want to start branching out because Rebecca Yarros also writes contemporary romance, so I want to read some of her other romance stories. And I'm not big on contemporary romance just because I do read a lot of dark romance and then the fantasy romance now. It seems like contemporary romance just cannot compare. It doesn't compare. But I do want to try to get into some of them because some I've heard are so good, and I want to experience those. The next one is a trilogy. It is City of Gods. What is it? Oh. City of Gods and Monsters by Kayla Edwards. They're some thick books. They're thick, but I want to read them. It is a trilogy. I think it's kind of like fantasy, dark fantasy romance, so I'm excited to read about that one as well. What is this next one? The next one is a series as well. It is the Legacy series. The first book is Reign of Shadows and Endings. This is by Melissa Roerich. Yeah. I don't know how many books are in this series. I'm going to start out obviously just with book one. With these series, basically, I'm going to read the first book, and then if I'm into it, then I will continue on with the series. That's why I didn't want to include every book in the series, in all the series that I have on this list in here, because what if I read book one and I don't like the series and I'm not into it, and then I won't continue it, and then I won't meet this. And I really do want to try and read every book that is on my 25 for 25. I set my goal for 50 books for the year. I've read 7 so far. I'm on my 8th book, and we're at the end of January. So I definitely think I will hit over the 50 books. So I know a lot of these on this 25 are series, either trilogies or longer series. I still think that I can be able to get to all 25 of these, but we'll check back in at the end of the year on that. Okay, coming in at number 23 is Grave Matter by Karina Hale. I'm terrible with names, so unless I've heard someone say it, this is a struggle for me. Okay, Grave Matter. Again, I'm going in blind. Dark romance. I heard there's lots of kind of twisty, eerie things that I'm excited. Some paranormal stuff, professor, student type vibes, forced proximity, yeah. And then Nocticadia by Carrie Lake. This one is a standalone. Oh, Grave Matter was a standalone as well, but Nocticadia by Carrie Lake, this one's a standalone that I heard is absolutely phenomenal. This is also like a gothic dark romance. And then we have The Book of Azrael by Amber V. Nicole. This one is it's a darker book. I think it's a dark fantasy. This is a series as well, so I will just read the first book. It is an uncompleted series. There's 3 books in it out so far. I will read the first one and then go from there. But that is my 25 for 25. Please make sure to hit that subscribe button, and thank you guys so much for watching.